Coming up on Bear News, an update on Russia invading Ukraine. Also, when will the mask mandate end on campus? The Greeley Stampede announces concert for the 100th Stampede. And will our basketball team make the playoffs? Bear News starts now.
Good afternoon and welcome to Bear News. I'm Andrea Grajeda. This morning, February 24th, Russian forces have entered Ukraine. Ukraine officials reported missiles launched from Belarus into Ukraine, and Russia seized control of Chernobyl, the site of a nuclear disaster. Ukraine became an independent state in August 1991, with over 90% of Ukrainian citizens voting for independence, and after December 1991, when the Soviet Union was dissolved, other countries started to recognize Ukraine's independence. Russian President Vladimir Putin is claiming that Ukrainian statehood is fictitious. In a message to Russia on Monday, Putin said that he had mistakenly let Ukraine think it was an independent nation by allowing it autonomy. Putin also said that Moscow had let Ukraine become independent, but it was the Ukrainian vote that gave them autonomy. In the same message to Russia, Putin recognized the separatist pro-Russian republics in Ukraine. Putin has over 150,000 troops along the Ukrainian border and has ordered troops into those separatist republics in Ukraine. Many countries are taking a stand against Russia and declaring sanctions. On Tuesday, Germany halted the $11 billion Nord Stream pipeline that would carry natural gases from Germany to Russia. Also on Tuesday, President Joe Biden said that Russia had begun an invasion on Ukraine and announced sanctions against Russia.
If Russia goes further with this invasion, we stand prepared to go further as with sanctions. Who in the Lord's name does Putin think gives him the right to declare new so-called countries on territory that belong to his neighbors? This is a flagrant violation of international law and demands a firm response from the international community.
Biden announced that the sanctions cut off Russia's Western financing and that Russia would no longer be able to make money in the West or in Europe. Biden also said that starting on Wednesday, new sanctions would be implemented to Russian elitists. Biden said that sanctions would escalate as Russia escalates too. Stay tuned with Bear News as we keep you updated on the situation. Well, it seems that the waning days of the COVID-19 pandemic are upon us. UNC is still waiting to lift their indoor mask mandate. Signs informing students and faculty about wearing masks still grace the doors and entrances around campus, nearly 2 years after the pandemic started and sent everyone online. With Governor Polis leaving mask mandate decisions up to the discretion of county officials, Weld County has been more relaxed on mandating masks and facial coverings. Residents in Boulder and Larimer County recently had their indoor mask mandates lifted, and COVID cases and deaths continue to drop in recent weeks. The Colorado Health Department amended their in-school mask mandates earlier this month, with implementation starting at the end of February. In a recent interview with Bear News reporter Hunter Phipps, UNC President Andy Feinstein teased that the UNC's indoor mask mandate may be lifted shortly after students return from spring break.
I don't think we're there yet for removing masks at the university yet.
Okay.
I think we're such a large campus with over 10,000 people here that are obviously in close quarters a lot of the time. I think we're going to wait for CDC and CDPHE guidance, the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, to really give us guidance. And we're also talking to other universities in Colorado before we make that decision. But I think we're getting pretty close to hopefully being able to remove masks in the months to come. It might be after spring break,
Okay.
but I think we're getting pretty close.
While we wait for an official announcement from UNC, students and faculty can find more information about COVID on campus, including vaccination requirements and testing sites around the area, on their website. As Black History Month is coming to an end, one entertainment type we haven't talked about yet are blogs. Website FeedSpot ranked blogs by traffic, social media followers, domain authority, and freshness, and they picked out the 45 best blogs. Our top picks are Watch the Yard, Noir Online, and the Black Alliance Hub. Watch the Yard is a media company that discusses the Black college experience. Their mission statement is to empower the next generation of leaders, builders, doers by digitizing the Black college culture, archiving Black legacies, and celebrating their contributions. Something that is interesting on Watch the Yard is that they have a section on specific fraternities and sororities around the country. They talk about Black celebrities who are in a frat or sorority, and the most recent news of Black pledges. Visit Watch the Yard at www.watchtheyard.com. Noir Online is a community-funded blog that focuses on trending and community news, fashion and beauty updates paired with Black excellency and culture. Noir Online even has a section where people can sign up for an advertising package on the blog and an events page that is run by the blog. Visit Noir Online at www.noironline.org. Black Alliance Hub is a blog that talks about issues concerning the Black race. Unlike the other two blogs, Black Alliance Hub is more of a forum that covers a wide range of topics. Their mission statement is for positive interaction by all Black people and friends of Black people towards a progressive trajectory for all people of African heritage. The blog itself has over 16 different sections you can read about that cover Afro-culture, immigration, the coronavirus, and more. Visit the Black Alliance Hub at www.blackalliancehub.com. Although these blogs do seem interesting, I might have to go back and check out some more. To look at all of the 45 blogs, visit the link on the screen. Up next, who can you look forward to watching at the Greeley Stampede? Dust off your cowboy boots and get ready for the Greeley Stampede. The 100th anniversary of the Stampede is welcoming guests from June 23rd through July 4th. If country music is your jam, check out the Superstars Plus package. The package offers 6 concerts for $100. Performing artists include Brad Paisley, Stone Temple Pilots, Joan Party, and several others. To check out the rest of the lineup or to buy tickets, visit the link on the screen. While exciting things are happening in Greeley, what other music-related news is there, Robin?
Well, Andrea, Kanye West actually released the sequel to his 2021 album Donda, creatively named Donda 2, yesterday. Want to listen to it? Well, unless you own a $200 piece of equipment primarily made for other musicians, you can't. That's right. Ye announced shortly before the album's release that it would only be available on the Stem Player, a speaker designed and licensed by Ye. Admittedly, the Stem Player is not just a speaker. It claims to have the ability to separate any song into stems, or tracks, meaning you could theoretically isolate the vocals and instrumentals of any song and add effects on top of it. While this is a cool feature if you're wanting to remix or sample music, technology like this already exists through software such as Ableton Live. The difference is that Ableton Live is marketed specifically toward musicians, while Ye expects casual listeners to run out and drop $200 on the Stem Player just so they can listen to his album. I'm sure it won't be long before Donda 2 gets leaked online, but what scares me personally is the fact that this could potentially embolden other artists to make similar decisions, putting a several $100 price tag on an album to help promote a risky business venture. Don't get me wrong, I respect Ye's decision to not put the album on streaming in protest of how little artists on streaming platforms are typically paid, but he could have just put the album on Bandcamp, where listeners would pay the standard $10 or $12. Anybody can put music on Bandcamp though, but not everybody is wealthy enough to attach their music to their own speaker brand and still expect to make a profit. If the artist formerly known as Kanye West really wants to support small artists, maybe he shouldn't do it by releasing music in a way that could only be done by one of the richest celebrities in the world. Well, every week of Black History Month, we've been spotlighting a boundary-pushing Black artist you should be listening to. Our final spotlight of this month goes to Marshae LaShawn, who raps and produces under the stage name Shay Noir.
We was only 12, missing school to babysit your siblings and doing ponytails. I keep a sleek pair of jeans and sneakers.
This Buffalo rapper has her style firmly rooted in 90s East Coast hip-hop. but her always clever lyrics and storytelling abilities prove she's anything but a copycat. My first exposure to her was on her 2020 collaborative album with Apollo Brown called As God Intended, and I remember being instantly sold when more than a handful of lyrics on the first song alone literally made my jaw drop.
Result of my aggression, I had to grow up in violence. Money talks could turn your life into a moment of silence. I control and decide.
While that's still my favorite album of hers, she recently put out a solo album called Food for Thought that definitely proves As God Intended was not a fluke. Plus, it's impressive to see Shay show off her own production for the better part of a project, and still have it match her vocals in both quality and confidence. What new music do you want to see covered on Bear News Tunes? Let us know at bearnews98@gmail.com or find us on Instagram at bearnewsunco.
Thank you, Robin, for covering Black artists during Black Heritage Month. But just because February is over doesn't mean you should stop celebrating Black excellence. Will you be listening to Marsha LaShawn? On Tuesday, there were several exciting events happening around Greeley, but it was a normal day for Stella's Arcade and Bar. Stella's hosted their weekly open mic night, and Bear News reporter Josephine Walter joined them.
Stella's Pinball Arcade and Lounge is located in downtown Greeley, and every Tuesday night between 8 and 10 p.m. they have open mic night. Local comedians, local acts, and bands come together to perform.
Miles out and clear, really my breaking up. I'm still a drummer and I just bad luck.
I was 8. I was so small, they literally put weights on the seat just for me to ride it because I'd hit a bump.
They serve food and drinks galore, including icy cocktails. Besides performances, drinks, and food, they also have games, including pinball, skee-ball, and all kinds of video games. Just a little bit about the performers from Tuesday night.
Yeah, so I'm Nathan. I also go by Nene or Knock, depending on the circles. And this is
I'm Bartholomew Jones. Our band is 2/3 Toker. How we started, we met in high school. We were both homeschooled, so it was like a homeschool high school thing. It was weird.
There were like 5 people in our graduating class, kind of crazy. But the reason why we're 2/3 Toker is that back then we were Toker. We had a third bandmate with us. His name is Peter. And Peter at some point abandoned us.
He moved.
He got married and moved. I mean, there's no resentment or anything.
My name is Giovanni Trevino, but my stage name is Gil Lil. Don't call me Giovanni. I am a comedian from Cheyenne, Wyoming. I am 23 years old. I am a promoter, comedian, and a host. I am currently working on getting my own podcast. Really just trying to, show that I know there's California, I know there's Miami, but we got talent here.
Stella's Arcade and Lounge is the perfect place to grab drinks, play games, and perform if you're interested. It's located on 9th Street in downtown Greeley.
Thanks, Josie, for showing us some up-and-coming talent. Are you tired of this cold weather? Stay tuned to learn more about these cooler temperatures.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. Those 9 months were also 273 days of planning. What about your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. And let's not forget those barbecues you plan in detail for your family and your more vegetarian by the day best friends. That surprise party for your parents' golden anniversary? You get the golden planning. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Since the start of the semester, students in the School of Theater Arts and Dance have been hard at work. That work is about to pay off for one student director and their cast. Angel Garcia, a senior acting major in the School of Theater Arts and Dance, is currently in the final week of the rehearsal for their show, Oh Me. Oh Me is a movement piece combining elements of song, dance, and dialogue. Movement pieces are different because they're told mainly through the body instead of dialogue, like in plays or musicals. Garcia developed the piece based off their own experience growing up in Texas. Omi follows the story of 18-year-old Naomi. After experiencing prophetic dreams, Naomi goes to attend the University of Hicksville in Alabama. The show explores modern and traditional spiritual systems, as well as the legacy of white supremacy. One performer, Eva Grace, says that Omi has been more of a joint effort than most shows.
It's been a lot of collaboration and a lot of like spiritual journeys, genuinely, which, like I said, is just like nothing like any rehearsal process I've ever been in.
Omi will perform for one night only on Monday, February 28th at 7:30 p.m. So, Angel, it's been really cold lately. Can you give us an update as to when we can expect some warmer weather?
Well, Andrea, after last weekend, I was starting to think that maybe our friend the groundhog was a little off. But winter showed up once again in full force this week as an Arctic cold front made its way across Colorado on Tuesday. It started with the wind, followed by a light snow dusting. Some more wind and a few snow flurries fell across Greeley as one of the coldest sequences of days so far this year made its way through northern Colorado. Greeley's lowest recorded temperature sits at around -45 degrees, with the February average at 20. While it was not quite cold, this week temperatures dropped to single digits on Monday and stuck around there into Tuesday night as small pockets of snow fell around campus. On Wednesday, the wind returned with a fresh blanket of snow as the temperature struggled to stay within double digits. Looking at the days ahead, we'll be warming up just a bit as the tail end of the Arctic snap makes its way east and out of the area. Thursday night temperature drops again to single digits as clouds move in as the sun sets. Friday looks to be partly cloudy with light eastward winds throughout the day and into the afternoon. A high of 30 degrees will give way again to single digits as the day goes on with mostly clear conditions at night. We will warm up just a bit over the weekend as sunny skies welcome temperatures around the mid to low 40s before we jump back into the 50s next week. Hope you're staying warm out there, Bears, as we plow through the next few weeks of cold weather before spring break.
Well, Angel, I think it's about time I put away my winter boots and I start taking out my summer sandals. Coming up, how well is the Bears basketball doing as their season comes to an end?
Before I started at Seattle, it was disorganized.
My lessons were the same all the time.
I think I've become much more strategic about drawing on students' prior experience in order to enhance their learning.
Making sure that my standards as a professor were very high, but also enabling students to be successful in my class with a variety of strategies.
Quite frankly, one of the most important to me has been my addressing the diversity, equity, inclusion issues.
I think definitely keeping in mind that I need to engage the students in what I'm teaching.
I feel like students feel more enthusiastic about the class, and then they come more, and when they come more, they're going to do better.
I think the most valuable thing that I've gotten out of Seattle has been kind of the community of support.
It was actually knowing that every single semester I need to engage something that makes me a better teacher.
Seattle is a great way to enhance your learning, especially if you're struggling with certain areas.
Welcome back to Bear News. So, Hunter, there's been a lot of basketball games recently, but how have the teams been doing?
Andrea, the regular season is winding down and both the women's and men's basketball teams are playing well at the right time. The women's team has been playing hard these last few games while the men's team are winners of 5 of their last 6 games. We've got highlights from both teams, but first we'll start off with the women's team taking on Weber State. Early on, the Bears go to the paint with Kirsten Harden as she makes this layup. Then she posts up and makes another easy bucket. Then Jaden Galloway is left all alone in the corner and she makes the Wildcats pay for it. But this game turns into the Hannah Simmental show, and she is a star in the making. She drives in, makes a nice move inside, and makes this layup. Then she's left open from downtown, and she buries that three-pointer. Then Watch this move. Whoop! Little slide to her right just so she could swish another 3. Then she crosses over. What the heck? You knew she was going to make it. Simmental finishes with a career high of 26 points as the Bears take this one 60-55. Here's Simmental after the game on her outstanding performance.
Honestly, I don't really ever know where I'm at, so to know that was pretty exciting. But also, I was just so glad that we won. I took shots that I felt like were open for my teammate or for me and my team. I was just really excited for the win.
The Bears are on the road tonight taking on Eastern Washington. Well, they'll be back in Greeley on March 2nd when they take on Montana. Now let's look at some highlights from the men's team as they take on Idaho State. In the early going, the Bears go to Bodie Hume as he gets UNC going with this 3-pointer. Then Matt Johnson runs the pick-and-pop for Kerr John Cooch, and he nails another 3-pointer. But the Bears eventually work Dalen Kuntz in as he drives in hard into the paint and makes that hard layup. Later on, Matt Johnson dribbles into the paint and finds Kerr John Cooch for the alley-oop and the two-handed jam. Then Dalen Kuntz steps back from the corner to swish another 3-pointer. But in the second half, Bodie Hume begins to take over. He pulls up and hits his second 3-pointer. Then, watch this. He drives in and boom, dunks it with authority. He was fired up after that one. Then Hume works in and throws it up off the glass for the and one. Hume would finish with a team high of 20 points as the Bears grind out their 6th win in 7 contests by a final score of 77-70. Here's Bodie after the game on how he got going in the second half.
Yeah, I definitely think I settled a little bit in the first half, especially a few shots didn't go in because of that. I know a main goal of mine, especially offensively speaking, is to be able to attack early and force threes and be able to open my 3-point shot up. And that's what I just tried to do, and I kind of failed that in the first half. So second half, it kind of opened some lanes for me.
The Bears look to clinch a first-round bye in the Big Sky Tournament tonight as they take on Eastern Washington at the Bank of Colorado Arena with tip-off at 6 p.m. There's also free Chick-fil-A for students before the game, so don't miss out on those chicken nuggets, Bears.
Hunter, you best believe I'll be there supporting my Bears and getting some free Chick-fil-A. After this, the rundown on New York and London Fashion Week.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light.
211, how can I help you?
Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need. For help with food, healthcare, mental health, and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected, get help.
I'm sure I don't have to remind my fashion lovers what week it is, but for the uninitiated, it's Milan Fashion Week. We've already seen shows from New York and London, so here's Andrea's guide to Fashion Week. We'll start off easy with Coach, the brand you might most associate with an older generation, but don't let Coach slip your mind, they're going through a resurgence. We had leather, cool girl crochet, and some twee silhouettes, and houndstooth print. Though the collection Coach presented was not cohesive, there were some standout pieces. Another brand you might associate with the older crowd is Michael Kors. While Kors can often lean towards predictable, they do give some classic, elegant looks. You can never go wrong with a monochromatic look, and I love the fur look that plays with texture, and we see that on a couple models. But there's only so many times you can have a one-shoulder dress with a cutout before your audience starts yawning. If you like these more monochromatic looks though, but you want something that's a little bit more edgier than that, look to Vetements. They're fun and edgy looks that combine all the comfort of sweatpants into business suits. These layered looks are either super baggy with one oversized look on top of another, or skin-type morph suits that are under more classic dresses. And I'm sure you could never guess this from me, but I love a campier look. I love frills and trim and fur and way too much. And if you're anything like me, you'll also love Anna Sui. The collection has matching sets with clashing patterns. Anna Swee plays with texture and patterns, like crochet granny square suits or fur and sequins. These were just some of the designers we saw within the last 2 weeks, and we still have the rest of Milan and Paris Fashion Week to go, where we'll see some big names like Balenciaga, Gucci, Valentino, and Chanel. I'm personally looking forward to the Stella McCartney collection. Here at Bear News, we like to feature students that come from all walks of life and go above and beyond here at UNC. This week's featured student is Annalise Rapignani. Rapignani is from Fort Collins. Rapignani is a special education major and plans to graduate in December of 2023. In her free time, she likes to hang out with her friends and family, paint, travel, listen to music, and go to concerts. If you know one of your peers that is an awesome student here at UNC, please send them an email. Please send them to the email on the screen. Thanks for watching. I'm Andrea Grajeda, and we'll see you Tuesday.